everybody, time to replay some retro games and welcome back to PlayStation. And we are looking at Bushido Blade. Let's replay Bushido Blade. This time we're going to do Red Shadow Story. The original 6 characters in the original Bushido Blade. I've always loved fighting games, and Bushido Blade is no exception. I don't know the story as well as the next best person. I had a friend long time ago, probably 10, 12 years ago, that helped me beat Bushido Blade 2. But I'm not going to go too far ahead of it. I'm just going to go with Bushido Blade because I want you to focus on the character named Red Shadow for the lore purposes of the main channel. I realize Red Shadow fighting game has nothing to do with Pokemon, but we'll get there. So, the basic story, at least in Bushido Blade, it's like a rivalry of 2 schools. And basically, both are trying... It's not the same thing as Mortal Kombat. They're basically rival schools that one is the side of the light and one is the side of the dark. The Shinto and the Narukagami. It goes into a lot more depth in the second game. Not as much in the first game. However, this is also going to play into something later on in the year. I don't know how far into the year with the challenge, but some things that I've been running... There'll be some streams that I need to move over from the main channel over to here that I've been trying to do personal best. However, if he fights Utsusemi, at best they'll kill each other. I can't let that happen. I think, yeah, Utsusemi is definitely in the base game. There's a lot more characters in Bushido Blade 2. I would definitely say Bushido Blade 2 in general is probably a much more well-known game. Basically, Red Shadow is a character from Bushido Blade, and basically in the second game, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Red Shadow is the apprentice, which is kind of weird because the other character that's introduced in the second game is a partner-based character of Red Shadow, so I would think it would be backwards, and the new character would be the apprentice, and Red Shadow would be the master. But I don't want to go too far into that, because like I said, we're not on the second game. Mikado, I'm sorry. I know this is back in the days where fighting games you could get a lot of hidden character fights if you fulfilled certain conditions during the fights. I also wanted to release this video alongside one on the main channel so that you could understand, because if I could have called my trainer name in the game Red Shadow and gave myself a different gender, I would have done so. However, you can't do that in Pokemon Blue. But we'll get there. There's going to be something. It may not be next Friday, but it may be the Friday after. I'm going to try to get it done by next Friday, but we'll see. If you guys are interested in it, you can go check the original 2024 trailer of the Retro channel, and it kind of goes over that. Anyways, I absolutely hate the Naginata. It is so frustrating to get around block-wise. Most specifically in this game, if you stand still, then you block. The thing that is not super well received in general about Bushido Blade is when you deal damage, specific blows to your opponent, they can lose their limbs. So like how he's on his legs and knees right now, he's on one leg moving his knee across just to attack, and only different attack poses can happen in different forms. So from the ground base, he can't do near as many attacks. There's different stances and sword stances. And more recently, I found a game very similar to Bushido Blade. But I'm really, really bad about teasing you guys and giving you things to look for. I just feel like 2024 is the year of things to look forward to. It's already started fanatically. And I'm back to playing Bushido Blade. There's some other fighting games I definitely want to play on the channel, on the Retro Replays channel. I actually love the Battle Arena Toshinden series, so that's something I would love to cover at some point. Also, the thing about Bushido Blade is any attack that hits you can be a critical. So obviously blood coming out is basically their main attack. That's when you die. So just a red hit is just it's not a critical, but it's a high damage hit, and then of course green is a block, and then it just depends on where you get hit. And I guess the game's RNG to see what limbs you actually lose. You can actually go as far as losing one of your arms. You don't lose the arm with gore and blood, but you pretty much lose access to use that arm with the sword. So if you're using a two-handed sword, you're going to have to hold it in one hand. Vice versa, if you use like a katana or an odachi and it's in your right hand and you lose your right hand, you're going to automatically swap to your left. However, that's also going to change the way your stances work in the fights, so you have to be noted on that as well. I just wanted you guys to know who Red Shadow was as a character, because it would make more sense when I bring it up in a Pokemon series of who is Red Shadow. The only other disclaimer I want to go over for 2024 is when I do a best of 2024 combined in general, I'm going to combine retro replays and retro into one 2024. While I do feel like the stuff that's Yu-Gi-Oh based is important, it is a side-based project. They are connected channels in a way, but since I don't refer to myself in the same name or terminology or anything like that, I like to keep them separate. So that being said, definitely we will go over all the cool games I played through. We will go over all the cool moments and all, like, maybe funny things I've said, funny things that have happened, you know, different things like that at the end of 2024. So look forward to that. Anyways, the story for Bushido Blade through the story mode is actually a lot slower. That was a very, very interesting kill swing. That was very interesting. I was literally down on the ground. Like, slash me when I'm down, why don't you? That's crazy. God. This is what I get for using a bigger sword. Like, I'm just at this point, I'm just like raging, running around and trying to hit him, and yeah. So the thing in here is, like, slash mode is a thing not only in the first Bushido Blade, but Bushido Blade 2. We'll have to get into that later on when it comes to hidden characters. I think hidden character unlocking is something back from the retro days and the old generations of gamers. And just unlockables in general, I think it'll be really cool to cover on the channel. Plus, I've never unlocked everybody in Bushido Blade 2. So for me, replays is about like a completionist thing as well, and there'll be some really cool stuff I introduce in 2024 regarding game completion. Also, while we're on retro replays, I think it's fair to say that I should get the first part from the other channel over to retro replays sometime this week, the first part of Brave Fencer Musashi. I have that recorded all the way up until, I think, episode 8. I just have to commentate all of it and record it. Like, I've got it recorded, I just got to commentate it. So you see here how, like, I'm on the ground and I'm getting into a different stance, but yet I can't get back up on my feet and change stances. That's because I'm completely immobilized other than my legs. Now we both are, and you're going to slash me when I'm down again. That is crazy. Tatsumi has always been difficult. However, like I said, characters in Bushido Blade work based on what the RNG of the slash is, so it's a completely different factor. I also am very, very proud of the thumbnail progression for all the channels. This Red Shadow thumbnail took me probably 4 hours to do, to crop it out and to get the text the way that I wanted it, and to get it where it's unanimous so I can use it for every different character and just add the new character to it, because I've already got the text and the filtering, and I've got the blade in the background and the gradient on the background, you know, that red blade that glows and all of that. I know what Utsusemi will do. I definitely feel this is one of the games that don't go more into story, at least in the game itself. But, I mean, I'm fine with that. You know, this is back a long time ago. I had to restart the entire story mode. Oh, I know why I did that. I swapped weapons, because I'm way more comfortable with Nodachi and Katana. And finally, I'm just like, I'm just going to kill everybody in one hit in the back. I'm done with this. I'm going to run around like a maniac, slash them in the back, and progress on with the story mode. Mikado. I'm sorry. I'm really not sorry for cutting you in the back, but I am sorry. At least it makes it somewhat better, right? Yeah, imagine how that works. I'm sorry I slashed you in the back today. I apologize. It made it better, though. Let's have a clean fight. So he reminds me a lot of Highwayman. And that'll make a lot more sense when we play Bushido Blade 2, because I don't believe Highwayman is actually obtainable in the very first game. And when we get to the point of that other game, which I just found, I think it's only 2 years old, and it's relatively cheap. So within the next couple of weeks, maybe a month, I'll definitely probably get into it. I definitely want to cover some things before then. I like how I still won that. I must see how far I can make it. I almost feel like I did not actually get that kill, but that's fine. When I downslashed to stab into him, I should have actually died. Oh, God. This one's for real now! I mean, clearly. And the first slash kills me. And then you cut my neck. God. You have no... Tatsumi is like one of those characters that the computer is phenomenal with, and I'm just bad with. But, Retro, you just said it's based on RNG and the characters don't actually work that way. Well, that's true. Yeah, that's true to a degree. I think every character has a little bit of a niche as far as what they can do. But competitive Bushido Blade is very undocumented because the game programming isn't really geared toward the competitive side of things based on the way that random RNG is. If you want to think of it in a Pokemon scenario, it's just like Fisher and Horn Drill and Guillotine. Everything can possibly kill you. Of course, the cuts to the throat, the cuts upper head, the stabs from the stomach in the back, stuff like that has a higher chance to crit, of course. Come on! Kanuki. That dude is so thick. His chest is like, he's known for being super thick. Oh, that was a really cool combo, Red Shadow. That was a slash into a spin. That was cool. I don't know how I did that. You guys ever play fighting games back in the day and you're like, hey, I did this really cool thing? Now, how did I do that? I don't know how I did that. I don't know what button combination I used to do that. Yeah, I did that a lot. Speaking from fighting game experience, I can still do Akuma's half-screen thing. I probably couldn't now because I haven't done it in so long. But back in the day when I was trying to get my friend to learn how to do half-screen stuff, I could do the half-screen thing pretty easily. So now we're going to jump down into the sewers that was on a snowy plain. You know, because that story plot for you. Not really sure what's going on, to be honest. We fall into these... Prepare yourself! Oh, he's got like a rapier. I forget. Oh, it's a semi. I think this is her sensei, maybe? Or her old sensei? I'm going to leave a wiki link down below because I don't pride myself to know a lot as far as storyline of Bushido Blade in that level of, you know, scope. So I definitely want you guys to be able to read that for yourselves so that you can understand what's going on. You did well. I'll leave the rest to you. Your wounds aren't fatal. Take care of yourself. Oh yeah, I just slashed you in the throat, but your wounds aren't fatal. That's crazy. Yeah, I think that is her old sensei or like her old teacher, something like that. It's a semi from the very first game. I can't stand you. I'll put you out of your misery. Die! Oh my god. Why does a character in a sword fight get a gun? Like, in a game with nothing but RNG, like, they say die and they immediately shoot. And, like, your sword doesn't guard the bullet. Like that, for example, when I lunged at him and got shot in the face. Definitely, the gun is definitely faster than the sword. I'll put you out of your misery! Die! No, cut you in the leg. I don't know what's going on. Oh, I got cut. Who sent you? Hansaki. So, he finally shows his true colors. Seek to save your life and lose it. Through death one finds the way of Narukagami. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. That was the story mode for Let's Play, or Let's Replay, Bushido Blade, Red Shadow Story. I'll see you guys on the next one. Power on, power off, and take care.